Recently, Billy and I went to Seattle and we played a bunch of escape rooms, a lot of the top rated rooms in Seattle. And we've decided today we're going to list for you each of our top 5 rooms in Seattle.
Yeah, we did. We actually ended up doing 9 rooms in 3 days. This was a trip that Mike had been looking forward to for a long time because he reads crazy amounts of blogs about escape rooms, and these rooms in Seattle were just so highly rated. He had to go see what the hype was. So we crammed as many rooms into the 3 days we had available to us.
And I would say it did not disappoint. The crazy thing about Seattle is the rooms really are that good. Before this trip, I had only ever rated 2 rooms a 5 out of 5. And after this trip, I have now rated 6 rooms a 5 out of 5. And so it just kind of, as far as one city goes, it's crazy for one city to have that many good rooms.
Yeah. In fact, I did a room yesterday with a friend of mine came into the Dallas for the day, and it was a fun room. Like we've said, rooms are rooms, and it's just fun. You figure out the puzzles, you work together. It's a blast. But when I compared that room to the rooms in Seattle, it was just not in the same category.
Yeah,
and so again, fun, glad we did it, but the several rooms in Seattle were just phenomenal. So now we're a couple weeks out.
I don't know about you, but as I look at my top 5 now,
Yeah.
they've rearranged a little bit in retrospect and looking back over it, and which rooms are still standing out to me. So I'm excited to hear what your top 5 are. So why don't you start us off? What was your number 5?
Okay, number 5 came in, and this was a tough one, but I put number 5, Vanishing Act at Lucario. It was one room was, all the puzzles were really good, really challenging. One room was just sort of a mediocre room, great puzzles. The second room and third room, I don't know if we can say that, but the other rooms were just very elaborately decorated. Loved it. Some really unique elements. So I'm putting number 5 out of the 9 we did, Vanishing Act.
Very immersive and almost a little bit scary there in that second part of that room. And we talked about this before, and how Lucario's room, it's like 2 different worlds. You enter in one world and then you like go to a deeper dimension about halfway through, and that's always a lot of fun. All right, my number 5 in Seattle is Spellstruck at Escape Artist. Escape Artist is actually famous for their moving rooms. Spellstruck is not one of those, but I loved Spellstruck. I loved the design. I felt like I'm kind of tired of the cabin in the woods theme, but they had a really well designed cabin. A lot of Generation 2 locks in that, which I was surprised how many rooms in Seattle relied heavily on Generation 1 locks. Spellstruck had a lot of Generation 2 locks, clever puzzles, a lot of fun, some uniqueness in there. So Spellstruck gets number 5 for me.
Yeah, that probably would have been 6 for me, but we don't have a list for 6, so I left it off.
Yeah.
Number 4 for me was, and this was surprising because I think if I had done my evaluations the day we left Seattle, this might have been number 2, but just thinking back on it, some others just jostled in there above this. And so my number 4 is Story Keeper. It was maybe the best decorated rooms in terms of detail, but just in terms of the flow of the story and some of the tedious puzzles. It just phenomenal room. We loved it. The interactive of the actor, again, just a great room, great multiple rooms, and enjoyed every second of the room.
And I totally disagree with you on that one. And so you've got number 5 and number 4, both are the Lucario rooms. So my number 4 is The Cabin at Escape Hour in Gig Harbor. Just incredible surprises all the way through that room, how you're getting what you don't expect the whole way through. It's just not predictable at all. Literally scary room. And one of my favorite things about that room is how they disguised the puzzles so well throughout the room. And you actually had to follow a clue in order to figure out, oh, that's a lock, actually. So that was a lot of fun.
Your number 4 is Cabin.
I know you disagree with me on that one.
I not disagree. I'm disappointed.
It's good. It's a great room. It's very hard to list these because they're all so incredible.
I'll take a minute and regroup and go on to number 3. Number 3 I'm putting Mayan ruin. Again, great room. The walls were just phenomenal. Some of the decorations in there, some of the puzzles were just really cool. Loved the room. I know you loved it more than I did, but had a fun experience through the whole thing. Highly recommend Mayan Ruin.
Yeah, disappointing. My number 3 is the Evil Dead 2 room at Hourglass. The thing that kind of bumps it up on the list so much is the incredible production quality, the videos, the voice acting, well-designed room. I loved how they glued down the things that were obviously just set designs, and so you didn't get distracted by them as red herrings. Good Generation 2 locks in that room. Again, I bumped things up that had the Generation 2 locks because so many rooms in Seattle were Generation 1 lock heavy, and just funny. I laughed multiple times, mostly at you, in the Evil Dead 2 room. It was just
It's
fun.
exactly what I was about to say is there was, and that's my number 2, actually. Evil Dead
Okay.
2 is my number 2. And that's what I was going to say. There was equal parts jumping and laughing out loud. I can't tell you how many times we just like, that's cool, or that just something made you laugh out loud in that room. So there's a great sense of humor, great design, and just it's designed to be somewhat scary, but not like overtly scary like Cabin would have been, like genuinely scary in Cabin. But Evil Dead 2 is just sort of like funny scary, and
Cheesy
if that's
scary.
what they're cheesy scary, and that's what they set out to do, and they did it great. So that was my number 2.
Okay, I'm going to cheat here, and I'm doing a tie for my number 2 and my number 1. So I'm going to
That's
do
lame. You can't do that.
All right, so here's why I'm doing it. I'm doing one of them as number 1 for a group of 4. I'm doing another one of them as a number 1 for a group of 2.
Okay, do it. It's your list. You
I'm
do it how
going
you
for
want.
it. I'm doing it. So mine tied number 1s are number 1, Curse of the Mayan Ruin. For a 2-person team, this is an incredible room. And so if you are 2 people, this is the number 1 room in Seattle. It's a blast. Again, fun. I love Indiana Jones. You feel like you are in Indiana Jones the whole time. Clever puzzles that I've just never seen before. Just totally out of the box stuff. And I think the thing that really bumps Curse of the Mayan Ruin up at Escape Hour and Gig Harbor is the incredible professionalism of this organization. It is not just an escape room. They really follow up with their customers. They really interact with their customers. They're really fun. When you show up, they're excited for you to be there. They're excited for you to play their rooms. Hospitality and all that is just incredibly excellent. And then my other number 1.
Other number 1. How many wives do you have, Mike?
My other number 1 is my number 1 for a 4-person group, and it is the Story Keeper at Locurio. The Story Keeper is just incredibly well done. I mean, the acting, the story itself is incredible, like so creative. I can't even tell you about it because it's so creative. The design of the room is meticulous. Every square inch of the Storykeeper room is perfectly designed, how they incorporated everything. Nothing is there needlessly. Everything has a purpose, and it fits so perfectly into the design.
Okay, so you're basing, and your list kind of reflects maybe how you think of rooms differently than how I think of rooms, because my list was, as I think back on them, it's kind of like, how did it make me feel in the room? And so this is why Cabin is number 1, unquestionable number 1 for me, because it made me feel things in that room that I don't feel very many times in my life in the course of a year. Is like, if I'll watch a scary movie once in a while. I can remember just like 2 or 3 scary movies that I just had to look over my shoulder once in a while. And in the Cabin, I found myself looking over my shoulder several times and just sort of knowing the only people in this building are 2 girls. They're not going to hurt me. But still, it did not matter. I still had to look around. It was like, does one of them have a knife? Or is one of them haunted? And I had to, so several times. So Cabin, in fact, it's still my highest rated room of all time.
Wow.
Just because of how much fun that was, how you use the word immersive, most immersive room I've ever been in. And it was just a blast. We had to move fast the entire time, always had a puzzle, but we always felt like we were making progress on a puzzle. It flowed well. It never felt like we got stuck. We took a few hints here and there, but it never felt like we just got stuck and like we don't even know what to do next, because it always had you progressing towards something. So if that was part one of a trilogy and the other parts are just as good, I can't wait to get back there.
We got to get out there next month. Then I hear they're opening it up. And that's ironic to me that your number 4 is my number 1 and my number 4 is your number 1. And that just, we totally agree with each other on the details of the rooms. We just disagree on what we value most in a room, the thing that we are looking for in a room. So yeah, these lists are always subjective depending on the preference of the person that's giving them. But man, incredible. Yeah. I highly recommend a Seattle escape room trip.
Yeah, if any of you have done these rooms and want to leave comments below, we invite those. Tell Mike where he's wrong, and that's the only way he'll learn. So we invite those comments.
Like and subscribe.